I have some background vocals, but I don't know how to mix them. My background vocals are taking the place of the main vocal. That's why I'm here. Yo, what is up guys, welcome to a new video. My name is Wildcrow and today I'm gonna show you how to mix perfectly your background vocals and your harmonies so it's with the fit perfect and they don't match the main vocal. So let's start with this. Remember to leave a like and leave any comment. I don't care what comment you leave, you know, this is just for the engagement and help me and support me. You can just take your keyboard and do this. And this is a good comment. Here I have the vocals of my song Can't Shake You. This is the part of the build-up and well, basically this is the main vocal and all of these are background vocals and harmonies. I'm not gonna show you how to process the main vocal that sounds like this.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there. You're the only sound stuck in my ear.
Basically because I have an old tutorial that is super in-depth about how to process vocals and make them sound perfect, clean, bright, compressed and all of this. So if you want, watch that video, but please after this one, okay? Thank you. And then we have all these harmonies and background vocals.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there. You're the only sound stuck in my ear.
If we listen one by one, this sounds pretty similar to the main vocal.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
Then we have these two that sound basically the same, that are just lower harmonies.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there. When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
As you can see by the pitch and by the waveform, it's not exactly the same take. The singer recorded 2 times this part. And then we have another two that sound really similar but are higher harmonies.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there. When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
A lot of times the singer is gonna send you these 2 vocals that have the same pitch, the same harmony, the same melody. Why do you want this? Because one is gonna be to put it at the left and the other one at the right. So first thing we're gonna do is panning. As this one is basically the same melody as the main vocal, what I'm gonna do is just leave it in the center. Also because I don't have another one to compensate. Because if I put, for example, this one on the left, then when we play with the main vocal,
when the sun goes down,
there's something missing in the right. Then we have these two, one is gonna be at the left and the other one at the right. But how much? 100%? No. As these ones are lower, I'm gonna pan them a bit less than the following ones. For example, I'm gonna put it at 35 on the left and this one 35 on the right. So it's where you have a good left-right balance. Then these ones, as they're a bit higher, what I'm gonna do is pan them a bit more, not 100%. I don't really like 100%, so I'm gonna put it maybe the double, 70%. And this one 70% at the right. So now they sound like this.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there. When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
If we play all of them together,
when the sun goes down, I feel you there.
As you can see right now we are covering the entire stereo spectrum. We have one in the center, some a bit on the sides and some others more to the sides. Now what we can do is to balance the volume of these harmonies. Right now they sound pretty good, but maybe we can adjust them a little bit. The problem I see right now is that this one is kind of masked, you know, you don't really hear it that perfect as these ones. So I'm gonna boost the volume a little bit.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
And maybe these ones I'm gonna lower a little bit. And of course I want exactly the same volume, so I'm gonna copy it and paste it on the other one.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
Now a really important thing is that these background vocals or harmonies don't have the breath. If you have different breath, the problem is that the main vocal is gonna be breathing, then the side vocal also breathing, the other side vocal also breathing, so it's not gonna be just one breath. There's gonna be a lot of them going at the same time, really weird. These ones don't really have a lot of breathing, as you can see, these are the parts where it should be breathing, but there are not real loud things. Here, for example, is really quiet, but I prefer to just cut it and mute it. So basically what we can do is all these parts that the singer is not singing, just cut them, silence them, so this way there's no breathing. And we want to do this for all these small parts. Also, sometimes we can have this kind of little clicks that also we don't want. Just cut it and silence it. But also a really important thing is that your background vocals need to be playing at the same time as your main vocal. So make sure they are perfectly aligned and also make sure that the end of the phrases are not longer in the background vocals. If we check them, these ones are really aligned. Of course, they don't need to be exactly perfect aligned at the same place, you know, start exactly the same. No, because otherwise it's gonna sound too robotic. This is good. Just make sure they are more or less at the same moment, you know, the words. Look at the transients of the waveform, you know, for example here, they all start here to sound, so it's good. But for example, if we go to the end of this phrase, the main vocal stops here or maybe here. But as you can see, this one ends here, this one ends here, this one ends here, this one ends here. So my advice is to just reduce this. Just do it like this and clicking Shift, Alt and click. And also a good thing you can do is to go here and change this to generic or smooth. This way the cut is gonna be a bit smoother. And now they all end at the same moment.
You there.
Take it with the main vocal.
You there.
But if we have all of this,
You there.
You see, if you don't have them stopping at the same moment, then you have the harmony here ending a bit later, then this one ending a bit later, then this one ending a bit later. It's a bit chaotic. Now that you have the background vocals at the right place, stopping where it should, we muted the clicks, the breathing, and all these problems. We balance the volumes and we panted them. Now is the moment to start with the processing. Here you can do several things. You can just take each stem and process it differently. I don't really recommend you, it's really annoying. What you can do, for example, is process it with groups. We have one vocal that is in the center, then we have the two lower harmonies that are a bit on the sides, and then we have the higher harmonies that are completely on the sides. So you can just process the middle one, group the two low harmonies, and group the two high harmonies. But as the vocals already sound quite good, and to make this video faster, I'm just gonna group all the harmonies and it's gonna be easier. So we're gonna have all of them in this mixer channel, and the first thing I'm gonna do is use an EQ. The background vocals are vocals that need to be in the background. So you need to make sure that these vocals are a bit softer, don't have the much transient or harsh sounds, and also that they are kind of filtered. So the first thing I'm gonna do is do a low cut, so we make sure we remove all the sub bass.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
But also we make them a little bit thinner in these low frequencies.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
I'm also reducing here for the same reason, to make them a bit thinner and not that strong.
You're the only sound.
I just reduce here to make them sound a bit cleaner. And a really important thing,
When the sun goes,
check these frequencies here.
when the sun goes,
They get really loud when the S sounds. So what I'm gonna do is, instead of reducing completely all the time, I'm gonna just do a dynamic EQ, really strong.
when the sun goes down, I feel you there.
The S-ing sounds, the S and the F, are sounds that are pretty harsh and they stand out a lot. What you want to achieve is that these sounds are really soft in the mix, because happens a similar thing with the breathing. If you have background vocals and side vocals that have a strong S, then you're gonna lose the tension of the S of the main vocal, and you're gonna focus on these ones, so they're not gonna be that much background vocals. So that's why the next thing I'm gonna do is use a de-esser. I want this de-esser to be pretty strong.
When the sun goes down, I feel. When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
And after this, a really important thing is the compression. Of course, everything needs to be compressed, the vocal needs to be compressed and so, but the background vocals, in my opinion, need to be a bit more compressed. This way you make sure that sound at the same volume all the time, and there are no parts that they're gonna be louder and you're gonna lose the tension of the main vocal and all these things. I'm gonna use a CLA2A just because it's so simple to use and everybody says it's good for vocals. Maybe this is too much.
Down, I feel you there. You're the only sound stuck in my ear.
This is good. But now I'm gonna use another compressor, the Vox. Wildcrow, why do you use two compressors? Basically because it's gonna sound more transparent. If you just take one compressor and you, for example, use 20 dBs, it's gonna sound more overcompressed and you're gonna feel and hear the compression more than if you have two compressors reducing only 10 dBs each compressor. So it's so simple, just reduce this.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there. You're the only sound stuck in my ear.
This is good. Let's reduce this now, so this way we match the volume.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
And now another EQ, and here what I'm gonna do is filter a bit more the vocals, so this way the harsh or more strong frequencies are not gonna be that present in the mix.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
Let's reduce here.
When the sun goes down, I
And also I'm gonna use a high cut.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
And also,
when the sun goes down,
these frequencies are pretty loud, so I'm gonna reduce a bit here.
when the sun goes down, I feel you there.
Right now, as you can hear, this sounds way softer. Basically, I use the high cut and reduce some of the mid-highs for this reason. Because the high frequencies are frequencies that are gonna stand out a lot in the mix. The more high frequencies you have, the closer the sound is gonna feel to you. So basically, we want high frequencies on the main vocal and not that much high frequencies on the background vocal, so this way stay on the back of the main vocal. Another thing that I do sometimes is to get a low cut like this.
When the sun goes down,
But now what I do is I change this to side. I make sure all of this sounds more in the center because I like more the mid-lows to be more in the center. Now that we have the vocals controlled with the compressors, with the Q and so, of course what we need to do is to route it to the vocal bus, where I'm gonna have a lot more processing. This is really important because in the end the background vocals are vocals and you want the same end processing as the main vocal, so this way it glues better together. But of course we need to do one last thing, that is controlling the volume of the background vocals group. What I'm gonna do is put it at the 0 and then increase the volume until I like it. Of course this just depends on your taste, the loudness of them. But just from here,
when the sun goes down, I feel you there. You're the only sound.
for example, for me this is way too loud. They have the same volume as you can see here and it's standing way too much and you're losing the tension of the main vocal. A good tip to know the right volume for this is to go to the master and put it in mono. Right now you're gonna hear all of them in the center and it's gonna be a bit easier to balance the volumes.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there. You're the only sound stuck in my ear. When I think of
For me here is a good volume, and now just bring this back. And if we put the reverb,
when the sun goes down, I feel you there. You're the only sound stuck in my ear.
One extra thing you can do is to add a bit extra reverb to the background vocals. You can just take the vocal buzz reverb and apply a bit more on the background vocals, or what you can do is this. I'm gonna take this reverb, I'm gonna put it in the 80s because I like it more, I'm gonna filter it a bit, but the important thing is that the decay is at the minimum. But of course not that much, maybe on 20%, something like this.
When the sun goes down, I feel you there.
This really small reverb is gonna help to give a bit extra space to the background vocals, but also to push them a little bit more in the background, so this way they sound softer and all of this. But guys, basically this is how you can mix your background vocals to make them fit perfectly with the main vocal and they don't take the place of it, you don't lose attention of the main one and all these things. Remember that if this video helped you, you can leave a like, subscribe and leave a comment. As I said, whatever comment, I don't care. And as always, thank you so much to all these people here that are my Patreon members. If you want to be a Patreon member, so this way I can help you as much as possible with whatever things you want, give you sample packs and all these things. I'm in the description, you have the link and that you have all the information. So nothing else guys, thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.